Oh, we about to go live. Oh, it's up and running. All right. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Havdalah Thoughts. It's something that I used to do a lot back in the day, and I really don't. Oh, wait a second. I need to make sure that my voice, yeah, it is. It's coming through. Good. Okay, um, we're going to be going through Havdalah Thoughts, and I'm going to be telling you about some stuff. This is kind of clickbait because this isn't this isn't really a Kabbalistic principle, but it kind of is, meaning that um, there is a point in this mitzvah that is often, and by mitzvah I mean like a tradition that is often overlooked. And just in case y'all are wondering, this is actually live. It's not pre-recorded. You can comment, send messages, whatever you like. I'll send a little message right here. What's up? So it's live. It's not pre-recorded. This is live right now. So if you have any questions, comments, complaints, I can't help the fact I'm ugly. I tried working on that, but being fat didn't really help. So I don't know what else to do. All right, so we're gonna go over a principle that I feel like a lot of religions and various different religions and denominations overlook, and that is some of the prime principles whenever Yeshua or whenever the great sages were asked what is most significant. So we're taking a look at Chabad.org. Now, I'm not a Chabadnik. I'm not an anti-Chabadnik. I mean, there's a lot of good teachings there. I do admit firmly that I believe that Yeshua, or in the anglicized version, Jesus, is the Hamashiach, or the Messiah, the one promised to his world, born of a virgin, the very Son of God. So, with that being said, that's kind of a little bit outside Chabad's teaching, just a little. But anyway, so I did want to mention this. This is from the Chabad website. This is talking about one of the famous accounts in the Talmud. One famous account in the Talmud, Shabbat 31a, tells us about a Gentile who wanted to convert to Judaism. This happened not infrequently, and this individual stated that he would only accept Judaism if a rabbi would teach him the entire Torah while he, the prospective convert, stood on one foot, not fit. First he went to Shammai, who was insulted by this religious request, threw him out of the house. The man did not give up, but he went to Hillel. Now, back in that time, this was before Yeshua, there were two different schools of Judaism. There was Hillel and Shammai, and basically those were different views on how to interpret Torah and Jewish halakha, or Jewish law. Torah being the first 5 books of the Old Testament, which is identified as kind of a bread and butter, if you will, when it comes to Jewish law. It says that this man didn't give up, and he went to Hillel. This gentle sage accepted the challenge and said, "What is hateful to you, do not to your neighbor." That is the whole Torah. That is the whole law. The rest is the explanation of this. Go and study it. Okay. Now, I'm not going to be on here very long, or I'm going to try not to be, because I know if anybody does watch this, y'all got better things to do. But I want to go to Matthew chapter 22, right? But when the Pharisees heard that he put the Sadducees to silence, so, I mean, he really knew how to speak with authority. They were gathered together, and one of them, which was a lawyer, like an expert in the law, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, "Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" And Jesus said unto him, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind." Actually, there's another part in Scripture where it says that, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is thy God, and the Lord is one." So first he quotes the Shema, which is I mean, that is the meat and potatoes of Judaism. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, uh, the God of whose name, y'all know it, the Tetragrammaton, the Yud Che Vav Che. You should love your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. So, hear, O Israel, our God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He is one. He is your God, and He is one. And then He says, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. The second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Basic principle is this. Whether you're Christian or Jewish or Buddhist or Muslim, although I don't know, paganism might have a different interpretation, but the definition of whether or not you're righteous, it hangs on these two commandments. Do you love your neighbor as yourself? Are you sitting there, maybe you're not rich, but you've got a lot more than your neighbor does, and you see him struggling, and do you have compassion on him? Or do you try to exploit him? Do you try to ignore him? Do you try, or her, okay? Do you try to make fun of him? So I have this neighbor that I know he had like a drug background, a drug lifestyle. And, I haven't been completely innocent in that myself. So I have my issues. And at one point I used to make fun of him, even though he went and did all kinds of stuff for me. And I became convicted because the reality was he was a more righteous person than I was. Here he was working for me for pennies, mowing my lawn, doing stuff for me. And I'm over here making fun of him. I'm not a righteous man if I do that. I'm not a godly man if I do that, because I don't love my neighbor as myself. I'm a liar. And then I realized that was a condemnation that was on me, is that I'm acting like I'm righteous, but I'm not really righteous. I'm pretending. I'm a hustler. I like people to think that I'm serving God, Hashem. I like people to think that I'm doing right. But the truth is, there's somebody next to me who's struggling, and I'm using him, and I'm making fun of him. I am a jerk. And no matter what I try to say, or no matter what I try to pass on to somebody else and be like, yo, check it out, I'm going to church, I'm raising my hands up, I'm prophesying, I'm going to synagogue, I'm davening, I'm a mensch, I'm reading from the Torah. I'm not a righteous person so long as I treat my neighbor like dirt. And for those who are Jewish, that doesn't matter whether or not your neighbor's a Jew or not. That's not a qualification in that statement. Probably it would have been, more than likely, in ancient Israel at that time, 2,000 years ago. But that is not what that verse specifically licensed. Doesn't matter if they're a Jew or a non-Jew. Doesn't matter if they have your own faith or they don't have their own faith. If you are treating your neighbor like garbage, if you're treating your fellow man like garbage, talking all that boo-boo behind their back, while meanwhile you're thinking that you're a righteous person, you're wrong. Let's take another look. Matthew 25. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come, ye blessed of my Father, and inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was an hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, When saw we thee an hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done it to the least of these brethren, you have done it unto me. Then shall she say unto them on the left hand, Depart from me. You notice he says left? Y'all lefties, notice that. I'm just kidding. I'm playing. Then shall he say unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was an hungered, and you gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you took me not in. Naked, and you clothed me not. Sick, and in prison, and you visited me. And then they shall answer him, Lord, when saw we a hungered, or a thirst, or a stranger, naked, or sick, or in prison? We did not minister unto thee. Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to the least of these, ye did it not unto me. And these shall go into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal. So, if you think you're a person who's close to God, I don't care whether you're Christian or whether you're Baptist, Pentecostal, Methodist, Presbyterian, Orthodox Jewish, Reformed, Conservative, Messianic, and you don't care about those people living next to you, or really any person that you have contact with, and you look at them and they say, well, I don't like how that person treats me. Because, see, that's not a qualification there. It's not, well, if this person treats you well, then you can be a neighbor to them. I don't like how that person treats me, or I think this person doesn't accomplish enough in their life for me to invest in them, or I feel like I've done a lot in my life and I've taken care of certain people in my life, or I've done good for my family, but this dude, I just can't help him. I'm just not going to do nothing for him. If you have the idea that that's the mentality going through your head, I don't care what comes out of your mouth. I don't care if you're able to go into a church or go into a synagogue, raise your hands and speak out the words of God, and people are just influenced. If you do not have compassion for other people, you're ultimately a failure, and your religion is a failure. No matter what you say, if you're not having compassion on other people and kindness, you're a jerk. You're a jerk. And one day you're going to be walking down the road or driving in your car or at work, who knows what the situation is, and you're going to think God has your back. But if this Bible is true, God ain't going to have your back that one day, because you will have defied his word, where he said, take care of those close to you. Reach out to those that need your help. And you just happen to be too religious to do so. Your religion is fake. And it's probably not surprising why you have so much problems as a strong believer with things like pornography, or with things like just wicked things that always stumble you, because you're not really righteous. You're right-ish, but you're not really righteous, because this specific part in the Bible, it condemns you. And you're up there swinging your sling, and you're going to take down Goliath, but you ain't taking down nobody, because God don't have your back. God sees that you may be seeking out, trying to draw nigh unto him, but so long as you turn your heart away from the people that need you, you ain't going nowhere. Let's take a look at James 1 in the King James Version. Wherefore, my brethren, let every man be swift to hear and slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. Wherefore, lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, but receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your soul. But be doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any man be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in the glass. For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty, and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of his work, this man shall be blessed indeed. If any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, ooh, that's going right to me. But deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is in vain. Pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this: to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. But a lot of people out there, I'm not trying to diss you like you got some kind of problem that I don't. I'm just trying to keep it real with you. A lot of people out there, they think that they go to church and they think that they do this thing or they do other thing. Like God's sitting there withholding the scales. And, well, as long, I know you've done a lot of bad stuff, but as long as you do a lot of good stuff to kind of balance it, me and you are going to be cool. But that's not really what the Bible teaches. The Bible teaches to die to yourself. And so if you're caught up in willingly and knowingly violating the Bible, violating what the Word of God teaches, if you're caught up in that, you're not righteous. You act like you're righteous, you pretend to be righteous, but you're like the pig, which has a split hoof, so you would think it would be kosher, but it doesn't chew the cud. It doesn't take the word, the bread that it's given, and it doesn't process it and digest it and think about it and become one with it. It goes in one end and out the other. And so a lot of people are doing with that with the Bible. It's just going in one end and out the other. They're not really paying attention to it, because if they're really paying attention to it, they're going to understand that the entirety of the word is truth. Not the scriptures that they know that they're not violating at the time, those are truth, but the things that the other people doing over there that aren't their particular sins, well, those people are bad and I'm righteous. That's not how it works. It doesn't matter whether you think that you do all the things that you think are righteousness, but you avoid the big picture. You think you're going to be able to get into heaven, and you think you're going to be able to reach God on the throne. But God says, I don't want to receive your sacrifice until you have done until you've taken care of the ought against your brother. If you got people out there who you know that you should be reaching out to, and you don't, because, man, you got too much things going on, or they ain't worth your time, or they just made you angry at one point, and now you're in a good spot, so you can just let them slide. Guess what? God's making notes. And he's not like Santa Claus. He's not going to sit there and bring you a lump of coal. He's going to take your life. And that's the real situation here, is that in reality, we talk a lot about religious ideals, and this person is better because they understand this doctrine. This was the ideas of the antinomian Greeks, who had the idea, as long as you understand a concept and you're able to intrinsically accept that concept, that this is the path to salvation. When the path to salvation, according at least from the words of Yeshua, is die to yourself, is put other people in front of you. And it wasn't a concept that was, as what Hillel demonstrates to us, is this was not a concept that was brand new to Judaism. It's a concept that's been around for a long time. The idea that you think you're righteous alone at first ought to give you some pause. And you might go around and tell people like, oh, I'm so humble, I don't think I'm righteous, I'm such a bad person. But the truth is, when you really look at yourself and you judge yourself and you think, well, I'm righteous, I'm a good person, but you don't take care of the people around you that need it. And meanwhile, you're profiting while they go down, and it ain't your problem. And a lot of reasons why the church has been in the situation that it is, because it says that the love of many has grown cold. They want to get out of whatever financial situation they're in. They want to try to set up a future for their family and their children. And just like the rich man trying to go through the eye of the needle, he has to get off of his high horse and go through the poor gate. And he's just not willing to do that. Unless you come through the poor gate, and see all those poor around you and see all those people that have needy, your riches are in vain. You'll die with them. They'll choke you to death. They will destroy you. And you'll be mad and you'll try to say, well, I've done all this stuff. I've done all this righteousness. I have all this stuff with God and God leading me and in reality, you're laughing about how good you are at screwing people and cheating them. And God knows. God sees you for what you are. You might even believe your own lie that you're walking around thinking, I'm a good person, I'm a righteous person, and God likes me, and everybody likes me. And the truth is, God knows your lies. God knows your deceit. If you bridle not your tongue, you're lying. You're telling other people and you're telling yourself what a godly person you are. It don't matter what you do to try to make yourself a godly person. If you don't have love for other people, and that means being honest with other people, being real with other people, having integrity before them, and reaching out to people that are in need and trying to share what you got with other people. I don't care what church you go to, what hedge of protection you think you got. God does not have your back. And payday is coming. So if you're in a situation, you may not be, just examine yourself. When I say this stuff, I examine myself. It doesn't matter the good that I do. Is there still more that I owe God? Is there still more that I need to give? How much of what I got, which by the way, I ain't got barely anything. If you're from Africa or India, I understand that your life is rough. But I want you to know something. I really am broke, so please don't ask me for money. That being said, if I had it, I'd probably give it to you. I just really don't. I'm really broke. I know I said that, like going back, but the truth is I ain't got no money. I'm living in a 2-bedroom house with 6 people in it. And I've been broke since I started this pathway as a public adjuster, and I'll be broke next video I make too. That's just the way my life goes. Because if I do have it, I will give it to somebody else. And that's all right by me. Not because I'm sitting there thinking, oh, I'm such a righteous person. Nah, I'm not. I'm not coming to you with my own wisdom and my own knowledge, but rather wisdom of somebody else who is more wiser than myself. But it's still a true statement because I found the error myself, and I figured there might be some other people out there that are going through the same situation with me. So my suggestion to you is, if you're going through this situation and you're not able to reconcile your life with what's in the Bible, however you view that, and you feel like you should be righteous, but there's an emptiness, look at how you're treating people. If you are lying to people, I don't care how small it is, if you're lying to people, I'm going to read this again. If any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his own tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is in vain. I don't care if you believe in salvation by faith through grace. I don't care if you believe that Jesus is the Son of God. It says there what it says. If any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his own tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is in vain. It doesn't matter, it does matter what you believe, but comparatively, if you take this to be true, then if you're lying to people, if you are a liar, meaning you're not going to stop lying. I'm not saying you made a decision last week, I ain't never going to lie to nobody ever again. That's good. All right. I'm not tripping on you. But if you're going to continue to lie to people about how much money you make, lie to people about little tiny things, when you're going to be at a place, when you're not going to be at a place, lie to people about your history and your ancestry, and lie to people about, your true feelings. If you're a liar, you should not think you're cheating people with your words, for one, but you should not think that your religion is genuine. Get real with God. If God is real, doesn't he have the power to work things out with you having to lie to people, with you having to pretend, you having to make believe, you having to deceive people, which you're actually committing an evil act when you lie to someone. And I know I've been like this, and I've lied to so many people. And this is definitely on me because this is something that I struggle with because I got so used to lying to people and telling people things that I forgot what the truth was. Um, and finally, when I just accepted that, look, I need to fix this lying to people stuff, whatever the cost. There's no such thing as a white lie. There's no such thing as a righteous person who does not take care of his neighbor or who does not take care of his fellow man, I think is a better way to say it. You're not righteous. You may act righteous. You may have got everybody fooled that you're righteous, but you don't have God fooled. And there's coming a day. And I really don't want you to go through that. Whatever your religious belief is, whether it's like mine or not, it don't matter. That's between you and God. And that's pretty much it. I just wanted to share that with you. I will be bringing Havdalah thoughts. It's only a couple of minutes. And then I'll move on from that. And I hope you guys have a good week. And if you do watch this, thanks for watching it. And I will see you next, hopefully, next Havdalah Thoughts. And, oh, hey, David LaShawn, what's up, man? What's going on? It's good to see you again. That's a good guy. He's a very real guy. I'll never forget one time he was out on perimeter. Signal gold activated. Man, I love that guy. Anyways, let me see if I can like it, but it won't let me click on it. I want to click on it. Anyways, I'll click on it when I can. I'll say, hey, what's up? This guy's really, really funny, too. So, anyways, back to what I was saying. Oh, now it wants to click on it. Okay. I hope to see you next Havdalah Thoughts, and take it for what it's worth. The deep magic. Deep magic is be good to people. Be good to people. Better than they are to you. And take care of people that need your help. Look out for them. And don't lie to people. Because if you do any of those things, you don't take care of people, you don't lie to people, I don't care what kind of badge you think of religion and spirituality you got, you don't. So if you want to be able to head on a spiritual path that can really change your life and make things better and bring you close to God, stop being a jerk. I'm gonna tell you. I'm just playing. Y'all have a good 4th of July. Try not to light yourself on fire. And hopefully see you next Havdalah Thoughts. And that's a wrap.